I love seeing a movie that not only documents your time meeting him, but watching your kids experience that with
Right.
you. Like I said, my son was like, man, whatever about the wrestling thing I watched. Your kids got all up in that.
Well, and the funny thing about my kids is that you know this as a parent. You're trying to teach your parents what right and wrong is, right? Or I'm sorry, you're trying to teach your children what right and wrong is.
Your parents do sometimes, yeah.
Right? And so literally my kids are pointing out every fucking time what I did was wrong and asking me like when my kid asks me, why do you have his towel? And I have no answer for that.
No. What's great about that is your reaction. You're flipping. You're like, don't touch the towel. Don't touch the towel.
But my kid, again, nobody is as famous as Michael Jordan is. Like I tell a middle-aged man that I have Michael Jordan's towel from a game. He's like, can I see it?
Right.
Here's it. Oh my fucking God. You tell that to a kid, they're like, why did you want that? What the fuck's wrong with you? And that is very funny. Like there's no way to ignore the fact that it was insane that I took his towel. If you really think about it, without the magic of hero worship, you took his towel. What the fuck is wrong? It's kind of gross. What's wrong with you? And I'm like, yeah, it's weird. I got nothing for you, kid.
It's 25. It's kind of stink, right?
Yeah, right? Yeah. Let's Michael Jordan's towel. Right.
I'm glad I could make it.
Hear you great, brother.
I'm sitting in the time machine.
I see that.
I figured that was the best place to hang out.
That's awesome. I love it.
Yeah, no, I'm super busy today. The first day of the year is always busy for me because I'm getting ready for all the stuff I'm doing this year and trying to get the site ready. And but I'm happy to say hey, and it was awesome to meet you and look forward to finally meeting you in person when all this shit is. Oh my God. Do that. You can just come by GolfCon and say, hey, dude, you don't need to spend $2,000, brother.
Well, I had no problem coming down to the bar and sitting there and playing GolfCon either. That's fine too. Well, I clearly counted wrong on how long that video was going to be. So here we go. Welcome to Talk Wrestling here on the Jeff Beecham Network. Yes, went a little old school today. I've got the hat. I'm going to keep the hat on until I make my excursion down to the DeLorean because I want it to fit because it's very tight. I'm going to leave it so it doesn't get so tight. But I did also want to go old school today. As you saw at the very top of our little trailer montage, if you will, Dustin Diamond, Screech from Saved by the Bell, has tragically passed away at the age of 44, excuse me. He announced he had cancer late last year, and I guess that was it. It really came down to that, unfortunately, for Mr. Diamond. He was very familiar to us sort of the 80s and the 90s, of course, as from Saved by the Bell, portraying the iconic character Screech. He was, as JJ said in his tribute earlier today, in every iteration of the franchise except this recent reboot, if you will, or reimagining over on the Peacock streaming service. So we here at Jeff Beecham Network send our condolences to Dustin's family, his friends, everybody that knew him and loved him, and I hope that he has found peace, because I know he had a lot of struggles in recent years. But I know he was at WrestleMania 2000, which I was at, so I did get to share a building with him in terms of attending a wrestling show. I know he was on that. I think he was on Hogan's Celebrity Championship Wrestling show a few years back. So he was definitely a fan, and he definitely got involved quite a bit. I know he was involved a lot with Lawler in the Memphis territory toward the end of that particular company's run, I guess. So rest in peace, Dustin. And we are all thinking about you here at Jeff Beecham Network and across the our affiliates. So, all right. As I promised early on, when I premiered this trailer, when I put this post up last night, this is a complete hour of Ask Me Anything. It is now 6 o'clock. So let's just get right on to it. And CJ said before we even went on the air, he said WWE should bring back Tony Chimmel to announce Edge's matches. I said this. I know I said it direct in public on a public post, but I said last night, I need me some Tony Chimmel for WrestleMania. Definitely, when he comes in to face the Universal Champion or the WWE Champion, I need Tony Chimmel in my life for that moment, because Tony Chimmel's Edge's intros are everything. Just tremendous. Love it, love it, love it. Last night actually was a good show, Michael. It really was. It was a really, really captivating show. I enjoyed both winners, the people that won. There's a lot of controversy, as we've seen today over the course of today on the internet, regarding Bianca Belair's win and if her feet did indeed hit the floor. So we'll see what that means coming up as we get into Monday Night Raw tonight and then SmackDown on Friday. CJ, I'm curious of your hero worship story, because what you saw in the trailer with Adam, of course, he is my DeLorean guy, but he also made a very awesome documentary called Meeting Michael about the time he got to meet Michael Jordan as part of the media there in Ohio. So I recommend watching all three of them: Fastest DeLorean Part 2, and Meeting Michael over on Amazon Prime. But what's your story, CJ? The hat is made. I don't know what the hat's made of, Michael. I'm going to take it off there. Oh my God, my bald head. I'm not sure what this hat's made of, but I can definitely assure you. Let's see, you probably can't see it there. Let's see if I can get close enough here. There we go. It is an official Universal Studios piece of merchandise. So it is the real deal. It is what they sold at parks. It is what Marty wore in Part 2 of Marty Jr. also. So there is that. All right. Now, Big G says, hey, I need to correct something right now. I did not put Big G's trailer in graphic in the trailer, so I apologize, Big G. He's on every Tuesday at 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific. That's 4 p.m., not a.m., because we're not crazy around here. And also, the Greg Cherry show will not be taking place this week, apparently. I haven't heard from Greg since I got the notification about it, but I was told not to worry about promoting the Greg Cherry show this week. So disregard what you saw in that trailer as far as the Greg Cherry show, but definitely be sure to tune into Big Baller G no DQ underscore Big Baller G on Twitter will take you into the link for his YouTube page, and you can find him there every Tuesday at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 Pacific. As I said, Brendan, at the top, we will talk about. We'll see how Bianca does. We'll see what they do with Bianca, because I pretty sure both her feet touched the floor last night when her and Rhea were hanging there, kind of doing their thing. So I don't know if they're going to make something out of that, whether since Rhea's being called up, if they're going to make a storyline out of it like they did with The Rock and the Big Show, which my buddy Catherine pointed out to me this morning. Very interesting to see how it plays out. And will we see a ruckus being raised tonight on Raw or Friday night over on Fox with SmackDown? Curious to see how it goes. CJ's story is, as a kid, I brought a signed Chipper Jones ball to baseball practice to show off to my friends, but then I started playing catch with it. I would know, dude, you got a Sandlot story. That's crazy. I can't even. All my signed baseballs are in freaking containers, and they're all locked away. That's crazy. Anthony, we did get to that. The very first thing we saw today on today's show during the previews was a 10 bell for Dustin Diamond. So thank you for letting me know. I was aware. Sadly, I am still aware. Dwayne says, do you think they teased a Money in the Bank cash in after it was during the Universal? I'm kind of torn on that Universal Championship match. It was so much wrong with that finish. It was so bad. I mean, what do you do with that? Clearly the referee stopped counting when Paul couldn't unlock Roman within 10 seconds. So it's a complete mess. And the internet fans are not kind to WWE. We never have been, right? So I don't know how they're going to play this off, but I'm curious because the referee clearly stopped counting. So that's a screw up. And, how do you not – my question, how do you not rehearse that, right? How do you not prepare yourself for that moment where you got a window of time to work with and you don't have it squared away? That's kind of ridiculous. It really is. Hopefully they fix it and make it right on Friday, whether it's another rematch with Kevin at Chamber or Fastlane or whatever the case may be. Because I right now have a very sour taste in my mouth from that finish. By contrast, I am overjoyed that Drew McIntyre is still the WWE champion. Just so happy that he defeated Goldberg, and it was definitive. It was decisive. He kicked out of, I think it was 3 spears and a jackhammer, and he needed a couple more Claymore kicks than I would have liked. I'm not going to lie, but he beat him, and I pray to the wrestling gods, not JBL, that we are done with Goldberg once and for all. Lordy. I'm not sure why Jey Uso wasn't there last night. I don't know if he had an injury. I know Naomi was there, so it wouldn't have been anything related to the whole punishment thing they were going through. So we'll see. CJ, I'm not sure what you mean. I am not into. I don't gun as far as bang bang guns. Nope, not guns. No guns. Don't like guns at all. At all. Hate guns. Hate everything about them. And I know it's gonna cause a lot of polarizing with me. That's fine. Never been into guns at all. Just don't think they're necessary outside of military use and of course civil service police. I'm not one to shoot a gun myself. I don't encourage my son to shoot a gun or advocate. See, it's really weird. It's really gray area. I'm not a fan of guns. I never have been. I've had too many people in my life that have taken themselves out, accidentally or not, with guns. Not a fan. Just not my cup of tea. And again, if that offends somebody, I'm sorry. I truly am sorry if my stance on guns offends you and affects your viewership of my content, that is your decision. I'm not going to judge you for your decision. I just don't feel like they're necessary in my life. Cleaver, good to see you. I did get your message about the possibility of not being able to be around for the show, so I'm glad you're here. Thank you for coming on in. Much appreciated. Much appreciated. Whenever you can be here, I'm glad to have you here, brother. All right. Michael says, if I was Vince, I would have told the ref in his ear to tell Kevin to confront Paul. See, exactly. They've got the referees have these earpieces. I forget the name of the earpieces. There's a particular earpiece that they wear now. They have for many years. It ain't that hard to figure out, guys. It's not. G says, I was satisfied with the show last night, but that you and then Universal. Yeah, again, Universal Championship was just a bad ending. All right, Chris, with the first question. What is the first show you took your son to? Goodness sakes. Well, I know he was at SummerSlam 2011. He had just turned 3 that previous April. I don't recall him being at a show before that, Indie or WWE. So I think that would be the answer. Would be SummerSlam 2011 with the infamous undisputed championship match between Cena and Punk and Kevin Nash interfering, and then Alberto cashing in and walking out the champion. I know we went to a few shows when his mom was still pregnant with him, so we can kind of count that. But yeah, the first show I recollect taking Dylan to was SummerSlam 2011. He's been to many shows since, more indie WWE. I'm not gonna sugarcoat that, but yeah, he's been to quite a few shows. He's very lucky little man. IFB, thank you, CJ. I couldn't think of a damn name for it. Yeah, there was just no reason why that match had to end as crappy as it did. There's just no reason for it. And they could have done a million different things differently, and it still would have been much better than they ended up presenting to the live audience, and over what they ended up doing, which is such a bogus. Again, it blew up in their face, completely blew up in their face, and it's probably going to get worse as the week builds on unless they come up with something really dynamic, really dynamite to explain it. Now, again, Roman's ahead of the table. Roman has this pull. He has this sway with management that we don't know the extent of just yet, right? So, we'll see how it all lays out. Got a whole week of TV to figure out what happened here. Again, guys, I know you want to ask me questions, and that's wonderful. I appreciate it. But if you guys can even find $1 in your pocket or in your PayPal kitty or whatever to super chat me, that'd be really nice, just so I can have something to speak for this week, because it's probably going to be a really light week because a lot of the shows I'm having on my network are not my own. So just help me out. But I'll go ahead and keep the questions being answered to be nice. Michael says, do you think Alexa goes on after Rhea and we get a match between the two? I don't know what they're going to do with Alexa. I'm very curious about how they're going to work that, because I feel they missed the boat. What I mean by that is they had her get attacked, and you saw the start of the transformation into the Fiend's friend, Alexa, and then they jumped over the top rope. That was it. We didn't see her the rest of the night. And we didn't see her come in and try to take out Randy because Randy had to finish with Edge. So where do you go with Alexa? Where do you go with Rhea? Where do you go with anybody that wasn't Bianca? And like I said, Rhea has a legit bitch as far as being over the top rope, both hitting the floor. She didn't do that. Bianca did. So I am very, very interested, very, very invested in tonight's Raw and on Wednesday's NXT and on Friday night SmackDown to see where they all go from there. Okay, Mikey, there you go. Hit up Mikey on Facebook and on YouTube and on Twitter and everywhere else. Football Squares. This Sunday is Super Bowl. I was gonna get into it, deep tomorrow, but There you go. Hit this boy up on social media. Buy yourself a square. Buy 5 squares. They're $5 each. You get a max of $25. You're set to go. Mikey has all the rules to lay out to you tomorrow during Staff Boy Sports Bar, again at 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific, here on the Jeff Meacham Network. And everybody just come on in and pull up a chair, pull up a stool, and listen to Mikey, because not only does he have Super Bowl preview, not only does he have NBA and NHL coverage, but he has a very special announcement that he hasn't even told me about, which worries me on my own network. But there you go. I can't do a whole lot. Yes, G, I was satisfied with Edge. I was actually happy, very happy for Edge. I picked Randy, and I thought sure he was going to throw Edge with the top rope. I said it last night. I've never been more happy to be wrong about a Royal Rumble win. The Rated R Superstar is back in the WrestleMania main event. Very happy for Edge. Long time happening. You remember his last major match prior to last year's little thing with Orton was a world championship match against Alberto Del Rio. So kind of coming full circle here. So good for Edge. Bayley's next feud, CJ. I mean, does it really matter? She's so talented, and she can really give the proverbial rub to anybody out there if they allow her to do that. It's just a matter of committing to it and actually letting them do that. Again, Sasha Bayley's kind of played out, but I wouldn't mind seeing her WrestleMania because I feel that match should have been WrestleMania in the first place. I said that many months ago. Not a whole lot of. I really have to get a look at the SmackDown women's roster and really decide that is she better off there? Is she better off jumping to Raw? Is she better going to NXT? Possibilities are endless, luckily, with WrestleMania, because they do feature all three brands, all the hell. And it'll be interesting to see how things get put in place here in the next 10 weeks. Michael Gonzalez says, glad to see Christian in the ring, but every time he took a bump, I got scared, knowing he is best. Yeah, his best injury was a concussion. Yes, exactly. They wouldn't have let him do that, Michael. Let me be clear on that. They wouldn't have let him go down there and take those bumps if he wasn't ready to go, if he wasn't cleared medically, right? So I feel that the fact that he was bumping and taking the bumps to the head or whatever, as far as actually falling on his head, indicates he's got the clearance, because they would never even let that happen and jeopardize somebody's health that way. CJ with a $10 super chat. Thank you, CJ. I appreciate that. Bruce Pritchard claims that not enough people care about WCW to reboot it. I think he is wrong. As long as they had enough of the top guys, they could have rebooted it. Agree. We've gone around the horn on this quite a bit over the last 18 and a half years that I've been doing this. The bottom line is this. There's a lot of what ifs that tie into the invasion. And the biggest what if, of course, is the talent that they brought in. Because my whole thing is this, and here's what I am thinking off the top of my head as I sit here right now. A lot of those guys you're talking about, Hall, Nash, Goldberg, Ric Flair, Scott Steiner, Hulkster, all those guys, although Hogan was kind of on the out because of the thing with Russo the year before, but all those guys that were under contract to AOL Time Warner, where the contracts reverted to the UWC, the Universal Wrestling Corporation, after the fall of WCW to WWE, which of course got incorporated into WCW Inc. underneath that umbrella. Here's my thought process there. When you have a trade in sports, or you have a deal where you trade with somebody and the team that had them still pays them however much was on their contract at the back end of it, why was no effort made? Again, this is me speculating 20 years later, so I honestly don't know. Okay, why was no effort made to work with Universal Wrestling and be like, hey, we want this guy, he wants to get paid, can we work out something where, we both pay him? And again, I know there's a lot of pettiness and a lot of heat on both sides, but if I'm Vince and I'm sitting there rationalizing paying hundreds of millions of dollars for the XFL to be a thing, and I've got an opportunity to make a storyline in my home company, in the company where I make my bread and butter, to really make that storyline work, and I don't do it, I'm gonna get shit on by my core, my diehard fan base. And that's exactly what happened. He didn't go after those big contracts. He didn't go after finding a way to try to make it work. So they shit on him. And and what's really silly is everybody that got the contracts in till the end of 01, 02, 03, they ended up coming over. The NWO, Scott Steiner, Ric Flair, all those guys ended up showing up anyway. So bad. So yes, I think it would have worked if enough of the top guys had showed up. Bruce and I, we actually agree on quite a bit, surprisingly enough, Bruce Pritchard and I. I do agree with him that in the form it was brought in the people that were brought over with those contracts, I didn't give a shit about WCW. I didn't. And as I sit here now, like, I still want WCW to win the war and win that thing of Survivor Series, but it wasn't going to happen with the guys they had lined up as actual WCW guys, which is why the ECW thing was brought in the first place. So yes, there was a lot of different things that could have drastically affected that invasion thing and the reboot overall. The key thing is no talent. So yes, CJ, I do agree with you. Had they had the name talent, I think it would have gone over much, much better. JJ's here. What's up, JJ? Brandon with the $2 super chat. Thank you, Brandon. I appreciate that. Who do I think Edge will choose at WrestleMania? Oh, goodness. If I'm Edge, I stick with Raw and I choose Drew McIntyre. There may be a development sooner rather than later regarding the SmackDown side of the Universal Championship, so be on the lookout for that. But either way, I'm choosing Drew because that's a better match for me. Big G with the $5 super. Actually, let me get to Colin's message here first. My thoughts on Carlito. I'm so happy he was there. The boy looked jacked. Just looked in great shape. And actually, Chris had a chat on Twitter, so let me not ignore that because that would be rude. Stand by. I want to actually read it. I forgot to load it in the screen, so that's my fault. Let's see here. Carlito looked to be in great shape at the Rumble. Should he make a comeback? If so, how would you book him? Should he build the stable, perhaps just put new talent over, one last run as a solo star, or none of the above? And you pretty much threw everything out there I wanted to talk about. I think that Carlito definitely looked like he could go for another run. I don't see the need for him to put a stable together. I mean, his cousin, his brother, kind of whatever with the Colognes at this point. Carlito on his own, looking like that, if his attitude has changed for the better, I say bring him back for one more throwdown. Why not? Maybe put him in a Intercontinental or U.S. Championship run, or a program with the current champion, Big E or Bobby Lashley. Why not? I'm all about that. Love it, love it, love it. All right, Big G with a $5 super chat. Thank you, G. He says special start time tomorrow, 4:30 Eastern. Aha! With an interview with the boss man. Oh shit! Here we go. Well, make sure you guys check that out right there over on Jeff's Big G's YouTube. Big G and Aaron Rift one-on-one interview. That'll be awesome. Can't wait to see that. Thank you, Big G. Michael says if Carlito was jacked up like that 15 years ago, he would have been world champion. Well, 2005, yeah. 2006, yeah, probably. That's not out of a possibility. So, yeah. But the problem, people are very hesitant. They're easy to forget that Carlito's attitude is what ultimately did Carlito in with the company. He did not have a good attitude toward the end. Not a good way to approach the business. And like I said, if his attitude has sharpened up as much as his physique, bring him back for a little while. I agree with that. I need to thank JJ and Mikey, by the way, for making me aware of Dustin's passing. Again, if you guys grew up like we did in the 80s and early 90s, Saved by the Bell was a staple of our lives. We every Saturday morning, man, without fail. Just so sad. And Dustin's life was such a wreck toward the end. It's very unfortunate that he had such a bad falling out with his Saved by the Bell castmates. I met Dustin, Jesus, years and years ago. Not WrestleMania. It was at an indie show that he was either working or attending, or it's so fuzzy up here. But he came off much different than I had heard him being, and I hoped for him at that point that he would turn it around. He didn't, and again, he got the 10 belts today. I respect Dustin Diamond, and I respect his love of the business, and I am grateful to have met him, to have watched him on television all those years. JJ said it himself. He was one of the 3 people that started on the original, of 4 people, on the original Good Morning Miss Bliss, which became Saved by the Bell the following season. But also, he was one of the 2 people that made it all the way through. Actually, he was the only one that made it to every incarnation of Saved by the Bell. Mr. Belding did everything but the college years. Zach did everything but the new class. Screech was on every single iteration of the franchise, except for, as I mentioned, this most recent thing on Peacock, which I watched the pilot. I'm good on seeing the rest of it. I mean, if I get grandfathered in with Peacock and WWE Network, I'll watch it, obviously, but I could honestly just not worry about it. It's really terrible. So take solace, Mr. Diamond, that you're not involved in that train wreck, because it's bad. Cleaver says, if not The Rock or Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania to challenge Roman, then who? That's tough. Those are 2 very viable candidates for that match. Seth is still on my list. I know it sounds crazy and silly and whatever, but Seth definitely has a clear track to it. He's well overdue for a championship run again, especially in the Messiah gimmick. So don't be surprised. We actually met this Dennis Haskins too. CJ, I met him at least once. I know once for sure. I met him. JJ, help me out. Mike, help me out. I think that was the road trip we took to the Anaheim show, if I'm not mistaken. We met him outside of the Honda Center, which is or what used to be the Arrowhead Pond. We met him and Matt Stryker in the same group of time, as well as Harvey Whippleman, who we also got a promo from that day. Good old Bruno. And that was a fun day. Dennis was very, very nice. He didn't want to do a promo because he wasn't prepped for it or up for it. So I totally understood that. But we did get to meet Matt Stryker, who was very nice to all of us and very sweet to my niece Natalie. I think she was there with us. I think Dylan was there too. But Matt was nice to us. Bruno, of course, Harvey. Harvey's great. He's a great talent, fun guy. But yeah, Dennis was very, very nice. Like I said, I've met him. I've met Dustin. I met Mario a couple times. AC Slater, Mario Lopez, out at Universal when they were taping Extra. I've done that before. I want to say I met, and forgive my help with the redhead's name on college years, the redhead that played Alex, who was dating Slater for a minute on the college years. I met her years and years ago at some I don't know if it was a premiere or someone. It may have been one of the shows I did for Rue for all I got. It's like I said, my head's no so good. It's foggy, right? So But yeah, very, very nice group of people all over. And yeah, people shit on Dustin. Some would say justifiably. My interactions with Dustin were always good. He always is very respectful and very uh, loving of the business. So I got nothing bad to say about him, and I hope he does rest in peace. All right, enough of the. I'm gonna start getting upset. Michael says, I'm still holding out that Rollins turns face by either Fastlane or Chamber and challenge Roman for the title at Mania if Edge doesn't face him. Well, again, that's a very distinct possibility, Michael G. There's a lot of things that, yeah, remember, the Rumble winner has that power, that golden ticket in his or her hand to decide which champion they're going to face at WrestleMania. And I dare say that depending on how the storyline dictates, that dictates what match is the main event. Do you honestly want to see, a match in the last match, the very last match of WrestleMania be kind of a match? No, of course you don't. You want to see something good. So it really depends who Edge picks. It depends where storylines go. And yes, I do remember she was the woman that went to the rooftop in Independence Day. I remember that very much. I was like, whoa, wait a minute, that's she's from Saved by the Bell. So yeah, that was, again, I met her. I couldn't tell you where I met her. I know I did, and I know I met Dennis, met Dustin, met Mario. Yeah, it's crazy. The memories just wash away over the course of time. Anyway, Dennis, yes, we saw him at the WWE show, so I would think he is a wrestling fan. That would be my assumption, CJ. Thank you. He also says, should WWE bring Mr. Kennedy? I really want to see where the NWA goes. I hear they're coming back, I think either this month or next month. And Kennedy was a huge part of that presentation. So we'll see what they do with Ken Anderson and NWA before I say, yeah, bring him back. Because I liked him in WWE. I know a lot of people I know like him in WWE, but I don't know if he liked being in WWE toward the end. So there you go. All right. I think I'm going to go wrap it up there, mainly because my voice is straining. You can hear my voice straining very, very badly. I apologize for that. Try to be better tomorrow. I have some water, more water at the ready. Don't forget tonight after Monday Night Raw on USA or however you watch Monday Night Raw at 8 o'clock Eastern, head over to NoDQ.com for a complete recap with Aaron. He'll be giving all the updates on Raw and everything that's going on in the news today, and all the features and opinions and everything there is to do with pro wrestling. And as I said, tomorrow on Stat Boy Sports Bar, Mikey has a major special announcement, so be on the lookout for Mikey's show coming up tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 Pacific. So if you're watching Impact on the East Coast, I'm sorry, but we're going to cut it right in half. That's what we do. Thank you all very much for watching. I appreciate the super chats. I definitely appreciate those. You guys, those are so important. And they help get me paid, and they help get my my equipment upgraded, and they helped everything along with the channel. We're a year in, and it feels like we're just getting started. You saw Adam there during the trailer for the show I'm gonna do with him next week. He was on New Year's Day, and it's a year. It's crazy, but we're already a month into the second year, so off we go. Yeah, last game for 7 months, but hockey's back, and I'm very excited about that. And basketball's there if you like that, and baseball's coming. So we'll see how things play out with sports in the next few weeks and months. And Tim, you're coming in just as I'm saying goodbye. So we will see you guys tomorrow for Step by Sports Bar, and next week right here, Talk Wrestling.